Say hi, Bucky. Yeah, say hi. Okay, guys, this is the beginning of my video. I am going to lecture. I just thought you'd want to say hi to Bucky before I get started, especially since I figured out how to put him on the videos too. So I'm going to pause it for a moment and get him out of my seat so I can lecture. Okay, on our last video, we talked about the different types of rhyme, as in perfect, slant, and I, and we talked about end rhyme and internal rhyme. Now we're going to look at the idea of kinds of rhyme. So the first thing we're going to look at is the correct slide. Kinds of rhyme are based on the number of syllables. So a rhyme is going to be both perfect and one of these. Or it's going to be I and one of these. So the first one is the sound it makes or the look it has. This one is based on how many syllables the word itself has or the rhyming aspect has, not necessarily the entire word. Okay, so this is based on number of syllables presenting a similarity of sound. So it's the similarity aspect that's important. It's not every single syllable of the word, but it's more the idea of how many syllables are similar. Okay, so the first one we have is masculine. This is one syllable of a word rhymes with another word. So here we have bend and send. These are both perfect rhymes as well as masculine rhymes because the one syllable fits with the masculine, but it also fits with the perfect. Bright light, love, dove. All of these are masculine and all of these are perfect. That does not mean that every single perfect rhyme is masculine. It's just the examples that I'm giving you. So masculine is one syllable. Okay. Feminine is the last two syllables of a word rhyme with another word. So, and it's the full, both syllables have to rhyme. Okay, so unlike masculine where it's one syllable, feminine is two syllables. Lawful, awful, so that you have the ah and the full in both words. Now this is also a perfect rhyme. I'm giving most of them to you in perfect rhymes so that you can see how it feels and what it looks like. Awful, lawful, lighting, fighting. So the it and the ing. And creeping, sleeping, it's the eep and the ing, eep, ing. So you're getting the two syllables here. The last one is a triple rhyme. This is where the last three syllables of a word or line rhyme. So it has to be all three syllables. The words can be longer than three syllables, and both words do not need to be the same amount of syllables. So you could have a 4-syllable word and a 3-syllable word, but it's the last 3 syllables that are important. Okay? Victorious and glorious. The or, e, us. So you have or is one syllable, the I is one syllable, and the us is the other syllable. So you get that in the same thing here. Battering and shattering. You have the at, you have the ter, and then you have the ing. Same thing in both. Quivering, shivering. You have the iv, and the ing. So that gets you the 3 to get you a triple. Okay, now let's do a quick comprehension check. So like I've done before, I'm going to put these as questions in the video. So you might want to pause, write these down, figure them out before the video actually stops, and make sure you answer these questions. So what type of rhyme does each set of words use? So I don't care if it's perfect, I, or slant. What I care about is the number of syllables. So is it masculine, is it feminine, or is it triple? Okay, and then we will go over these in class tomorrow, and obviously you'll get the answers from the multiple choice as well, and I'll only give you those 3 options as to not confuse you. So you have boy, destroy, generate, venerate, support, report, label, table. Okay, that's it for this Prezi, but that is not it for this lecture. So I'm going to go ahead and move to the worksheet. I'm going to get rid of my lovely little picture so that you can see more of the screen and enlarge this. This next couple of parts I didn't put together a slideshow on because it was kind of too much information to put on a slide. So I'm going directly off of the handout itself. So it's important that you have that. So the first thing we have here is rhyme scheme. So we've done all of this. We've done the verse form, the devices of sound, the position of the rhyme, and we've done the kinds of rhyme. Now we're going to look at the rhyme scheme. So the rhyme scheme is the pattern or sequence in which the rhyme occurs. Okay, so this is the perfect, the slant, the I, and then how do you actually put them together to make that pattern? So we're charting the pattern that the sounds are making. So the first sound is represented or designated as an A. The second sound is designated by a B, and so on. Okay, so most poems, we're only going to see most of our poetry is probably about 20 lines, so you're probably really only going to get up into the G's, the H's, the I's, but you can get all the way through the alphabet, and if you do get through Z and you come back to the beginning and you have a 27th rhyme, it would be AA, BB, CC all as one, so it would be two letters together versus the single syllables or the single letters. Okay, so when the first sound is repeated, it is designated also as an A. So if we look at this, so I'm not going to read the poem. We're going to look just at the last words here because we're looking just at the end rhyme. Okay, so it doesn't matter what the other words in the poem mean. Know, though, hear, snow. So this is how you mark rhyme scheme. So the first word or the first line gets an A because it's the first line of the poem. And then we look down at the next line, though. Though and snow. They rhyme. Okay, they don't look like they rhyme, but they sound like they rhyme. Know, though. So it's got that same sound. So these are actually, oddly enough, a perfect rhyme because they sound exactly the same. Okay, so they're both an A. The next one you have is a here. Here does not go with though and no, so it gets a B. Okay, then we have snow. Snow, though, no. It goes, all three of those go together, so it gets an A. So that's how we figure out rhyme scheme. I did the rest of the poem here in your notes, or so it's on the handout for you, so you have that so you can see what it's like and how it feels like. Noticing here that there is a pattern. The author here on purpose, let me get rid of this, the author on purpose is making a pattern. So you have 3 lines repeating, and then the third line of each stanza is the next one. So this B here rhymes with queer, near, and year. Even though these are a new stanza, these are the same sound as here. So it's the same sound throughout, gets that same letter. Okay, and usually the authors are going to be nice and keep them within close proximity to one another. Noticing here that the author here took the sweep and all 4 lines here have the same rhyme. So this is what I'm looking for when I'm asking for rhyme scheme. So on the Canterbury Tales test, this is what I was looking for. You were doing this with the lines that I gave you. Okay, alliteration is the repetition of the initial sound or sound in 2 or more words in a line of verse. Initial means the first sound. Okay, it doesn't mean the second or the third or the middle or the end sound. So we're not looking for end rhyme. So we're not looking for the end words here. What we're looking is within the line of poetry, what sound do we hear initially in words? So a tutor who tooted the flute tried to teach 2 young tutors to toot. Said the toot to the tutor, it is harder to toot, or to tutor 2 tutors to toot. So this is also a tongue twister, and that's why I like to teach alliteration, is that use of that tongue twister. So if you figured out that the sound is a T, you are correct. There are other T's here within the words. That's not part of alliteration. Alliteration is just the first aspects, okay? And it's that same sound within it, okay, which is important. So all of the T's in here with the first same sound would get the alliteration, would get labeled as alliteration. And remember, alliteration doesn't have to be 10, 15, 20 words in a row. It can be 2 words next to each other. So you can have here teach 2, and that would be an alliteration. Okay, the example I gave you is a larger example though. Onomatopoeia. For pronunciation's sake or spelling sake, pronunciation's sake, it's onomatopoeia, but for spelling's sake, I like to pronounce it onomatopoeia, and that helps me to actually make sure that I get the ending spelling correct. Is the use of a word to represent or imitate natural sounds. So this is buzz, crunch, tingle, gurgle, sizzle, hiss. This is what the sound, so like when the fire crackled, that's onomatopoeia. When the bee buzzed, when I crunched on the food, you can hear the sound, you can feel the sound in there. Okay? Assonance and consonants are what fit with alliteration, and how they get figured out for the rhyming, or for the internal rhyming. Okay, so assonance is a similarity or repetition of a vowel sound in two or more words. This is not a vowel sound at the beginning, because remembering alliteration is the idea of the initial letter or sound, and usually it's a consonant in alliteration. But in assonance, we're looking for inside the words what vowel sound is the same. So here we go. Lake, stake, lake, fate, base, face, base, fate. So it's the A sound, or it's the A vowel, that are all very similar. If we go back here to the alliteration example, and we do just the first line, a tutor who tooted the flute. What sound are you getting that is similar in vowel sounds that are within the words? Okay, that would be the O's. Tutor who tooted. So the idea is that those would be an assonance. Okay, and that's how it looks within a line of poetry. And we're not looking at the end rhymes, we're looking within the line of poetry itself. Okay? And here, two tutor, two tutors, to toot. It's definitely a lot of O's in here, and every single word has an O. Consonants is the repetition of consonant sounds within a line of verse. So it's similar to alliteration, but looking at the big except here, the consonant doesn't limit the repeated sound to the initial letter or a word. But such a tide as moving seems asleep. So noticing here, I've underlined the S's because that's the sound that we're getting with the consonants, but noticing the S's are all over the place. They're not just the first sound that you're getting from the words. They're also sounds from at the end of words, from in the middle of words, and that's consonants. Okay, alliteration is just that first sound, whereas consonance is all the way throughout. So here, if I were to have you on the first line here do the alliteration, do the consonants, you would be marking the T's all the way through the thing. So all the way through the line of poetry. You wouldn't be marking just the first T's on tutor, tooted, the. You'd also be marking the middle T's and the T in the flute. Okay, so that's consonants. Alliteration is the first sound. Assonance is the vowel sound in the middle of words or within words. And consonance is the repeated consonant sound at the beginning, middle, end. It's all over the place. Okay, the last one, two for today. The first one is refrain. Refrain is the repetition of one or more phrases or lines at intervals in a poem. Usually at the end of a stanza, the refrain is often referred to as a chorus. So when you hear it in a song, it's those lines that repeat over and over. So here, the I like it, I'm speeding up because my video's time is up. So the I like it would be your refrain. Okay, so it's that repeated start. But when we look at songs, and we're going to look at a lot of songs when we're looking at poetry, because songs are poetry. They're just set to music. So we will be doing a lot of forums when you're dealing with songs in themselves. Okay, repetition is the reiterating of a word or a phrase within a poem. So repetition also fits with refrain. Okay, so the I like it would actually be a repetition. Okay, that's it for today. I will see you in class tomorrow. Have a good day, and make sure you're prepared to discuss and read lots and lots of poetry. Talk to you later.